there, Scorpio community. Now, you know who it is. It's Soul Tigers with a special story for this wonderful frequency. First off, thank you so much for your patience as I navigate the story between the good, the bad, the ugly, the beautiful, and everything in between. Don't forget that this is a safe and sacred space where we call in the ancestors, divine, universal energies, as well as angels and our spirit guides to come in and be the protectors for the positive messages. Now, keep in mind that this channel is geared for self-empowerment. What that means is creating the stepping stones for us to get connected to our soul being. So let's go ahead and get started with the vibe. Now, there wasn't a lot of chaos that's coming in. It's more like things are quiet, but it's only if Scorpio chooses things to be quiet, if they take themselves out of the chaos and into an observation mode. Slowing down just to believe again. Grounding out in nature to see the magic of life and the natural cycles. This will help the Scorpio start to decode the natural cycles of their lives, emotional cycles, and why they work so hard to support others. Now, working through the thoughts, the nightmare of the thoughts, by reinvesting just in yourself this time. That is beautiful. It's like giving yourself permission to do things for yourself. So right now, I have the Cosmic Belief Oracle to start out. Let's get connected to believing again. So for the introduction, divine and universal energy, what would you like to come out? 3 cards, 2 things we're not seeing, and something directly Scorpio is at odds ends with right now. First thing is, don't worry about the future. I know everything will be fine when I stay in tuned with the present moment. A lot of times when we dwell in the future, it's about the worries of the future. When we dwell in the past, it's a lot of the regrets of the past. Staying present in the moments takes us out of our regrets, it takes us out of our worries, and it brings us into the now. And it's less hectic in the present. Sometimes. It just depends on our outlook. So a few things we're not seeing for this Scorpio frequency. The moment I reconnect with love, the universe responded powerfully. Sometimes the universe will put us between a hard place and a rock and issuing out that tough love because the universe wants you to make moves for yourself. Just remember that moves in love and light and compassion. I'm in awe of the great guidance I have access to. Why, Scorpio, in this story, don't you believe that you have an inner knowing already? It's that soul being that's connected to that higher power. You just got to trust in yourself. You got to trust what you're feeling. You got to trust when you're being called upon to make moves. All right, 3 more cards. What needs to come out for the introduction? Another thing that we're at odds ends with. When I am sick, I let the universe do what I cannot do for myself. What does this mean? What does this mean? When I am sick, I let the universe do what I cannot do for myself. It feels like you let the universe lead you around and to show you another way of going. Maybe another way of highlighting things in your life. Maybe being able to see the different pieces. A lot of times when we are sick, we've become sick, it's to promote a moment of rest, a moment of observation. Sometimes we ask for it and we don't even know it. What do you mean? What do you mean? Well, I'll give you some examples. If you have to be careful what you ask for, because what you ask for, you will get it. And if you are complaining that you're tired all the time, you don't have time to take care of yourself, you don't have this, you don't have that, well, the universe will respond by putting you into a position where it forces you to take time for yourself. And a lot of times it comes out of accident, incident, illness, something. It could be something that is totally out of our power, such as something that goes on with nature, that forces us to stay in one spot. So at that time, what is it that you can let the universe do for you when you're in that moment? Not having to overthink everything, maybe giving these thoughts to the universe and letting divine work stuff out for you, asking for the patience to be able to sit back and observe the natural cycle that the universe wants to have play out with whatever the situation is. Let's go ahead. Two more cards for the introduction. Oh, this has to do with observing. When I surrender my will to the care of the spirit and the universe, I align my energy with the ever-present flow of happiness. When you give permission for divine timing to happen with the cycles of life, then you do not run around chasing, trying to prevent the inevitable. Because the inevitable is always going to happen. Again, there's always a higher power that's at play. Alright, so what is the last card for the introduction? Ooh, we got last 3 cards. Again, relying on that divine timing, the flow of the universe. I believe that my strong will combined with my faith is enough to make a vision a reality. Look at that. When you are aligned in your faith, when you're aligned in your soul being, you glow in a different way. And things that once seemed impossible become possible. Is you realize that there is work to be done, and it's not always the physical work, and it's not always work where you run off trying to take care of everything. Again, sometimes the work is being able to observe what's going on. Last 2 cards, something that we don't see is when I integrate my wishes with my faith, I can take action from a calm place rather than a controlling place. Oh, when we're trying to prevent the inevitable, that means we're trying to control an outcome. That means there's an insecurity here in the emotions that is attached to something that could need to be highlighted, maybe circled around with love, compassion, and bringing in a new light to look at things. And something that we don't see, and if we did, we would be automatically at odds ends with Scorpio, is feeling good gives me a far more than I think. Yeah, feeling good gives me far more than I think I need. Here we go. Excuse me, my dyslexia was kicking me in the butt there. How do we feel good? It's when we shine a light onto the things. Shine a light using love. When we look at things through the eyes of love, we start to see the things that we are really blessed with. We also start to feel like our world isn't so dark. Because I believe all the cards that we had come out besides this one, which this one's in the dust, everything was in the dark but this one. How is it that you want to feel good about your life? And where is it that we need to shine some light into to take the work or to get to the work that's needed? That's needed to see our lives in a different view. In a blessed view, that's what I get. Seeing our wealth of who we are. Oh, wow. Thank you for that. That was a divine message right there. All right, so what is it, ancestors, angels, guides, that need to come out for the present? So it's the contracts that we've dealt with in the past that's left us kind of drained of feeling good about who we are, in a sense. I have a 3 of Pentacles, working with others, contracts with others, being in cahoot with others. But it's these being in cahoot with these others that has led us a little bit astray from ourselves, I get, that have confused us on how to feel good about ourselves. What else needs to come out? Ooh, that's a lot. All right, so right away what we have pop out is a 5 of Wands, King of Swords, and a Hierophant. There's a traditional one way of thinking here. One way of thinking when it comes to things that how do I put this? Because it has to do with the lack of control. So right here, I have a lack of control. I have conflict with the lack of control. And I have very precise movement on trying to figure out how to bring that control back with using the same traditions that we've always used. Maybe the same traditions that we grew up with. Very a kind of narrow-minded one view kind of thing. Yes, we have a King of Swords up here and upright, but a King of Swords can be very arrogant in the mind sometimes. Only a one way of looking at things. It's not like a King of Cups where they would be a little bit more adaptable. This is just that direct, that this is the way it is kind of thing. What else needs to come out for the present? This has to deal with blocking. How we block, what we pick up to hold, even though we could be going against our intuition. And it has to deal with the 5 of Pentacles. It could be relationships with others that are a little barren, I'm getting. And then I have the Sun card in reverse. They're not fulfilling. If anything, these past contracts, these past endeavors with these past situations, whoever we've been in cahoots with in the past, it's been more of taking. It's been really taking from our true soul being, so to say. It blocks our intuition. It takes away, what I'm hearing is a lot of charisma to be who we want to be around people. Let's go ahead. I'm hearing clarity card for the Sun card. What is the clarity card for the Sun card? Ooh, this is interesting. It has to do with the view on if people are leaving you out in the cold or if it's just you. Because I have both these cards come out in reverse, but the one that comes out upright is this King of Swords. And then I have, this Star energy. What this tells me is the Scorpio in this story is very confused about how to be precise. Be precise with who they want to be. They can put what they want to put out in the world, but it's always geared towards others, taking care of those others and trying to make those others feel fulfilled, getting to their wish fulfillments. But doing that, it has confused Scorpio on what their wish fulfillment is. It's a lot of fulfilling others. That's what I'm feeling, is we got trapped in a lot of fulfilling others. Let's see what else needs to come out. What else needs to come out? Yeah. This has to do with an awareness into these contracts. I have the Emperor here, Mars energy, but also this represents Aries. You know what's crazy? And I gathered at this earlier today, and Mars energy has to do with the root chakra. So this could have to do with the very foundation of this Scorpio in this story. Out of balance, imbalance. There's a lot of anxieties, insecurities, fears, and restlessness that feeds into the confusion about these others and what happens with these others and what we do with these others. It's, you know, I didn't know this, but when I was going through the chakras to see which sign represented which chakra, it was very interesting to find out that Scorpio's planet used to be Mars. I was like, what? So let's go ahead and read about this Mars energy here. What it is that you're kind of dealing with, I'm feeling like in the shadows. Mars energy shows much about how and where a person can best express their energy, as well as how and where that person is likely to express conflict. Ooh, that makes sense on what we're talking about here. And right now, one of the things into the Mars energy is to become more aware, the birth of awareness within yourself. I think it's being more aware of who you are, but it's not through how you serve others. It's going to be put back into how you take care of yourself. That's going to open this new awareness. And what I'm seeing, it's going to be like a lotus flower. Just lots of things are going to unfold for you when the Scorpio starts to do this. And this is going to be gifts. A lot of gifts that are going to come in when it comes to your sensitivity, navigating your sensitivity, but also your sensitivity being heightened in a positive way. And the Scorpio knowing how to, again, navigate that to where they can be their little guardian angel selves, but still show up for themselves first. All right, so I'm hearing one final card. What is the last card for the present? Last card for the present. It has to deal with an Empress. Ooh, and this Wheel of Fortune here in reverse. Empress, Wheel of Fortune. And this has to do with when I integrate my wishes with my faith, I can take action from a calm place rather than a controlling place. I feel like this is you expressing that when you have that reactive reaction because everything's kind of been like a tea kettle on the back burner and it's boiling and now it's over boiling, it's whistling, and nobody's paying attention to all the warning signs to take it off before it gets to this state. And I feel like when you finally have your reaction, this is where you kind of look at yourself. You look at yourself as somebody who isn't the guardian angel, the person who doesn't want to help others. You look at yourself, how can I put this? Because the Empress represents fertility. Depending on which Empress this is, because different decks will depict different Empresses. I want to say what it makes you feel like. It makes you feel like you are more further back on your healing journey. Like it really devastates you and it almost makes you feel like you're always still at square one of your healing journey. When that's not the thing. What I'm hearing is that's the test. Every time that happens, when you're dealing with these people who aren't seeing your buildup, it's when you finally pop that top, it's how you deal with yourself afterwards. That's what it comes down to, whether it's positive or negative, and I'm getting more of a negative sense here. You're not being very loving with yourself. But why is it that these others can rock you so much? I'm curious. Let's go ahead and figure out what's going on in the block here. What I feel now, kind of opening up into the block, is I'm feeling like my intuition is blocked. Like there is just, what I see is kind of like a crusting over the third eye. So let's see. What needs to come in? Okay. For the block. So what we have here is we have an Emperor out. And with this Emperor looks at the Six of Cups. Fairness. I've even believe I've heard that this Six of Cups could reflect back into younger times. So there's something here that this Emperor keeps looking back, especially into the thoughts when it comes to the one-mindedness. Look at, we got two Emperor cards here. This has to do with the awareness. Awareness of when the Scorpio in this story looks back. And the fact is they can't surrender the past self as to that's just what it is to the divine. What needs to come out still? Five of Swords. Being left out in the cold, holding on to these traditions and not realizing it. This looking back and being overcritical of yourself, this routine is what fuels this negative outlook on yourself, especially when you react after being pushed so far. Eight of Cups, not knowing how to walk away from what once was. I look at these cups at the bottom and I say what once was, is we're dwelling in the past here. Look at how some of these are buried a little, like time has went by. Alright, what else needs to be expressed here? Justice. We feel like life will never be fair. That's what I get here. Our wheel will never turn. we ourselves will never be fully fair in the life, fully balanced in the life that we live. And it's all led by looking back at the past mistakes here. Past mistakes with others. And it's when this emperor was really, really young. What else needs to come out? Oh, this Queen of Swords. Man, do you come in on yourself? You come in with the Queen of Swords energy where you kind of just cut yourself down a lot. You could cut yourself down when it comes to past mistakes, when dealing with certain things in life, certain habits that you have, maybe certain habits that still revolve around now. What happens is we overstress ourselves about these past habits. I've actually talked to somebody about this. They were a Libra. And what ends up happening with this Libra I'm very close with is they start to take their life in a better direction, their ideal direction, and they start working hard towards it. But what they also do when they start doing that is then they create these standards for themselves, these unachievable standards for themselves. Things that they're supposed to measure up to that literally they're not going to measure up to. They start comparing apples to boots, or comparing carrots to tires. None of it makes sense. And I had to tell this person very forwardly, this is what's kind of a part of your demise and why you get overstressed out and then you go back into your old habits, is because right here you're trying to come out the chute and you're trying to do everything really quick, but then holding yourself to standards that are not achievable for you right now. And for the type of life that you have, income and all that stuff, it's not achievable. And sometimes when we're trying to head out into a direction that we feel like is ideal, that we are attached to the outcome, it stresses us out more to where we relapse. And it's here where we need to take a step back. Because when we relapse, when we go back into our old habits, that's when we get hard on ourselves. And that's when the whole cycle starts all over again. But it's knowing that when we start new things in life, it's creating baby steps. Baby steps to get there. We got to create realistic standards for ourselves. We can't compare ourselves to others who haven't been on our journey. It's like we can't compare ourselves to the shows and everything we see on the screens. So a lot of times what we're seeing is fake. This is why it's so important to get in touch with yourself and to figure out what's right for you. And knowing, Scorpio, in this story, no one's perfect. Everybody messes up. But every day is a chance to try again. Don't forget that. All right, so let's go ahead. I'm hearing a few more cards for the block. What else needs to come out for the block for the Scorpio frequency? There's a lot of nervousness, but the nervousness, I feel like it's ungroundedness. It feels like very shaky, like low blood sugar. So making sure to take care of yourself. My belief is that when we eat good food, we're going to ground out our body. When we drink water, plenty of water, we're going to help ground out our emotions. When we do our breathing exercises, we are going to ground out our minds. That's that little triangle of care or groundedness that I like to reflect upon. So make sure that you're taking care of yourself, because when we're not taking care of ourselves, it will feed into our anxieties. It will feed into our fears. It will feed into us being in the past or the future and not being here in the right now. Okie dokie. So if you need to, go get some water. Put this on pause. Go get you a little snack. Put this on pause. Put this on pause. Take 3 deep breaths. I'm not going anywhere as long as I'm on pause. So let's go ahead and continue. What are the last few cards? This one comes out right away. We need to have a rebirth in how we balance ourselves. This rebirth has to deal with how we deal with that conflict from others, but within ourselves as well. A rebirth in how we view the past. All right, what's the last card? Oh, I've been seeing this one. I was hoping it was going to come out. I have the 7 of coins here. What I hear is it's okay to daydream again about what fruits could possibly come in. Again, when we change a lot of stuff around, especially with our thoughts, especially how we connect with ourselves, a lot of different possibilities open up. So when we start to reinvest, start to create work to getting to there, what is it about the possibilities of the fruit that we daydream about, that we could start focusing on? All right, so we're going to head off. It's a lot of work to go within yourself. It really is a lot of work. Scorpio, Scorpio, Scorpio in this story. You are meant to have the transformations through every relationship. And it's like with the full moon and the new moon we just had in December. New moon is learning a new truth about ourselves, and then the full moon is enhancing, being able to enhance listening to our earthly wisdoms, that our experiences here, but also the heavenly guidance that we get, that upper positive divine energy that comes in to help shine a light when the times seem dark. Divine and universal energy. It's time to change. It is time to change how you operate in them thoughts. Not being so precise when it comes to decapitating yourself, but being able to, how do I put this? Because you're easy to react to yourself and how you feel like you're doing wrong, but you're not quick to react to others when others are doing wrong to you. And it's flipping that, because a Queen of Swords is protective. She's smart, she's intuitive, and she cuts out any bullshit that comes her way. She don't let it go. She will not let it stand. She's not like the Queen of Cups where she's a little moldable. She sit back and look a little bit. No, the Queen of Swords energy cuts it right out. Anybody that's trying to tread on her. So this is saying, hey, you need to be more protective of yourself. There's a change that needs to happen with that. And what else we need to have is we need to surrender. We need to surrender to the divine timing of things, how our contracts have been handed out to us, what has been aligned in our contracts. When you're able to acknowledge that everything has been written for a reason and that you go through everything for a reason, you're going to find the beauty in it. Because you're going to find how all those other endeavors, all those misaligned contracts that you got through, how it really grew you into this beautiful spiritual person who's connected with themselves, who's connected with the universal divine energy as well. You got to go through the mud to get connected. It's hard. And I'll tell you what, the reason why it can be so hard and so challenging at times is because you are a divine being. The more you connect to yourself, the more high vibration you go into, the more those negative energies want to stop you. Because you can't fight the devil with the devil. The devil's not going to go after itself. Dark energies don't go after themselves. They go after light beings. But when you're more connected into yourself, it's nothing. It's nothing. It's like a cakewalk, I'm hearing to say. And it's so easy when you come up to these challenges that you're going to see your rewards more sooner. You're going to see why this lesson was presented, why you're dealing with this situation, why you're dealing with that situation. All right, we have 1, 2, 3 more cards to go. What are the last 3 cards right here? Oh, talking about that. Ooh. We got this fruitation here. Look at that. Your intuition and the guiding messages there. Ooh, you are very fruitful in. But it's hard to see. It's very hard to see. Very hard to see because we're not having the realizations that our boundaries are what help protect us. Our boundaries also help us to build standards, also to help us close our gates to anybody just walking in and treating us how they want to treat us. You are not anybody's doormat. Remember that. And you don't have to be somebody's doormat in order to prove how much you love them. People who love you will respect your boundaries. They will respect how you feel, how you want to be so kind and compassionate, but yet they will create a space, because when you get with your soul tribe, it's more enlightening to where you're going to be able to develop more. You're going to be able to progress more because you're going to have people around you that are going to help influence this, opposed to people around you who make you reactive. But it's weathering the storm of change. That's what it is. I would suggest for Scorpio to go back and to look at their fellow water signs. That's what I'm hearing. Look at the Cancerian and look at the Pisces. Pisces, the big message I'm being led from Pisces is being able to express your frustrations and your anger in a healthy way and not reacting to others when others want you to react. Now for Cancer, theirs was dealing with a person who is too much in their business and who uses a lot of passive aggressive stuff to poke at their insecurities. And what I have is there could be a fine mesh of everything kind of going on for the Scorpio in this story. So maybe viewing those 2 videos might help. But it is a journey to get to your wish fulfillment. And when it comes to your thoughts can be very precise in helping you move forward, or it can be very precise and creating the very blocks in front of you. It's how you can use that intuition. Your intuition is always going to come up from a higher consciousness, and surrendering to that is what's going to help. But just remember, Scorpio, and although I've told this to a Scorpio before a few times, is sometimes your power is not in your thoughts, it's in your psychic abilities, it's in what you feel. What you feel at the core, at the gut. When you start to open up to how you feel, that intuition, what I see now is the crust from the third eye that I was talking about earlier, is falling away. And there's just a brilliant glow coming from your third eye. And I see it spinning in a very golden light, balanced golden light as well. But it's up to you to take this journey. It's up to you to put others down who can take care of themselves and to start choosing to take care of you a little bit more, okay? All right. Thank you so much for hanging out. And don't forget to thank your ancestors, angels, guides, as well as divine and universal energy for coming in and being the guardians for the positive messages. And as always, I hope that you have a most wonderful, wonderful rest of your day.